like to play with my like different alter egos, you know? And so I'm really interested in being able to switch between characters like in a breath. You know what I mean?
And you have these characters already, or?
Yeah, I have alter egos which I would be plugged into typically, but I don't have Wi-Fi in the garage, so I figure we just have a clean slate right now.
Yeah.
But like, I mostly shift between like, well, it's kind of like Nicki Minaj is how I would say. It's like, you know how Nicki Minaj has like a couple different alter egos? Like she's got her Barbie, and she's got her like Roman, like her like monster, you know, like.
Yeah.
Nikki and I were born on the same day. We're both December 8th, and like we share an energy, you know. And like I definitely have this kind of like high femme valley girl, like just like totally like chill, you know, like Kardashian kind of like it girl. And then I really like to perform and I'm talking about kind of in my music as well as in what will be my live show. And then I have kind of like more of a domineering, like, kind of like sexy techno voice, like want to be able to speak really seductive, femme fatale, a little lower. And then I've got this kind of like cheerleader, and she's a little different from the bit. Like she's kind of, similar to the Kardashian thing, but she's more of like a pump you up, motivational freaker. And like she came to bring your energy, and I kind of play with this like motivational freaker energy. And then there's like Signy, who's me, like me. But like I always say, like Signy is like the main thing, and like I'm shifting between my different characters. And like with the vocoder, I can kind of go into a masculine voice with like pitching down and stuff. But the main ones are kind of like this like Valley Girl, dominatrix, and cheerleader, I would say. Or like some cheerleader / motivational freaker are like the three main alter egos that I work with. And then in my music also, I definitely do I sing. I have a couple, and I'm gonna send you some of the songs after this.
Okay, cool.
But like as of now, I'm not recording to my highest potential by any means, and I'm noticing that because I'm not a bad singer, but I'm not a great singer right now. I believe that with training, I can jump leaps in my singing ability, but I'm not using my voice the way I know I could if I had even a couple lessons of warm-up tool. It's like I'm not really warming up before I sing. I don't really... I know I do the bare bones. I do like do re mi fa sol la ti do. I do like 5 times.
Yeah.
Like I'm not using it to my highest potential. What I'm also noticing is like I'm a pretty sharp linguist, like rapper and writer, and I literally rehearse with Kesha and Nicki Minaj lyrics in order to warm my face up, in order to talk really fast. And I just keep thinking that breath work would probably be like essential to help me do that better, to be able to say more faster with more personality in my voice, I'm just really interested in being a really high octane performer in all aspects, in terms of voice, in terms of face and expression, in terms of movement, body, there's a lot of elements to my act that I'm working on, but for me, it's where I'm at with my glow up is harnessing the craft of being a great performer.
Do you get tired when you vocalize? Does your voice get sore?
Recently, I kind of went on a little bit of a bender with my recordings, and I noticed a soreness in my throat, like I was pushing it, and I've been known throughout the course of my life, my 20s, to have a little bit of a raspy voice when, especially because I used to smoke. Smoking if I go out and scream at a concert, like I will be left almost voiceless for a couple of days. I would say that I have a sensitive voice and that I have unfortunately not done a great job of preserving her up till this point. I quit smoking this year and I haven't smoked a cigarette once in quarantine. It's changed my life, thank fucking God. I'm not drinking pretty much. I drink like once a week, which has also cut down. I think the wine definitely can like tear up your vocal cords. I do drink coffee every day, and that one's going to be really hard for me to move out of. But like, I wouldn't say I like get tired. I think it's like I said, like I'm more interested in like learning how to better treat my voice so that I can keep using it to its. I think what I get tired of is feeling like I'm not getting the takes that I want to get. You know, it's like it's frustration of recording and being like, she don't sound like what I want her to sound like, you know, like, and I don't really know how to manipulate my voice very well in Ableton, although it's something that I'm really looking forward to getting great at. Like, I can't wait to be able to make myself sound super loopy and weird, you know, like I can't wait for that. But I don't currently know much about it, which I think is actually kind of good because it forces me to get into the real, you know what I mean? Like to get into the real authentic voice before I layer a million effects on it. Because the effects will always be there, but, and even in my live show, I'm going to be, like I said, I use a vocoder, but like, I'd like to really be a great, I've always seen myself as an actress, even though to the most people I'm an artist, but like in my performance art, like I am an actress, you know, and I just so happen to be playing the role of Sydney Pierce, you know, and like, that's kind of what it means to me to be a reality artist. It's like, I am the role I was born to play, and it's up to me as the writer, director, and star of my own show to put on the best show possible, you know? So that's like what, you know, with my work, it's like a lot about talking about real life, talking about reality, talking about the contemporary condition of modernity. And like, I'm interested in inspiring people, motivating people, getting people to think big about what reality is and what it is and what sort of we've been told to believe through media, through perception. Like, to me, there's just, I really feel that we're operating like on one dimension of possibility right now, and that like through technology and the internet and through access to each other, through like these communication devices, we can unlock some new potentials in the next 10 years that need to be unlocked. And like, I want to be sort of like I said, like a motivational freaker. Like I want to do it with music and lights and pump you up energy. And I want to be a vulnerable performer. I want to be funny. I want to be sexy. I want to be terrifying. I want to be beautiful. Like there's a lot of energies working here, you know, but at the center is me as a performer.
And so basically, just to clarify, like, you don't speak yourself into exhaustion.
No.
It's if you're singing or yelling.
Not currently.
Okay. So that's pretty impressive because you're definitely using your voice a lot and your breath well. So it's like they're getting exercised. Mm-hmm. Like so there's nothing wrong with how you create sound, as in like you're healthy is the conclusion that I'm drawing. And that might even be part of the reason, like there's a fear of like, well, your voice works. It's not like broken. And then like to, you know, put yourself in the hands of like training. Sometimes like that fucks with natural things that we're doing, which is a pretty big theme. And I think it's really exciting that I'm into breath work as well as technique. Because I think what happens is like, or what isn't happening enough is people realizing like we should always be communicating authentically. So even doing exercises is like, we actually have to add in the idea of like the impulse and what the emotion is generally. Mm-hmm. But I'm also thinking that like potentially we could create a slightly new or different way of improving your voice that could include emoting, expression, yelling, whatever it is that you want to do in the day or in the moment.
Yeah.
And just explore what it is to like use our voice differently. Because I also feel like you know a lot and you're a leader, you're a teacher, and as well as the other things that you were saying. So I kind of want to help you figure out like what your path is going to be in terms of, it doesn't even sound like you need to be motivated.
Not so much, I would say. I would say that I'm like really like kind of about this idea of actualizing higher self. Like my higher self is like a superstar, and my higher self is like internationally known performer and voice, and like superstar is what I'm going for. And the accountability to show up for that glow up and not be scared of it has been what I'm harnessing, you know? And it's the kind of thing I've always known that I have this potential, and I've quieted it down over the past 10 years because I'm sure you're kind of familiar with this idea of like, we are more scared of our light than our darkness, you know? And like, we tend to wallow in the shadows of you know, kind of half-baked potentials because maybe what we know our true calling or our true potential is like intimidating, because it will require that extra step of discipline and harnessing power and actualization. And like, I don't know, I've just had a couple of experiences in the past 2 years of being in really incredible rooms with incredible people and being invited to perform with incredible people and like being kind of like operating at a pretty high caliber of artistry and being surrounded by other artists that I consider to be some of the best artists in the world. And like, it's just forced me to be like, you have to, Signe, go into your like Madonna, Beyonce capability energy. Like, and the thing that I will very vulnerably say is like, it's easy to get a little thrown off, pushed down, lower energy frequencies can consume you. The shit hellscape of reality can be crushing. Insecurities. Those are the things that I'm like really just trying to fucking push away from me, because I believe that if I can harness my discipline, my voice, my focus, I can be the artist that I am. You know what I mean? Like, one of my mantras is like, or it used to be, I want to be more than I am. And this year it shifted into, I am. Like, I am, you know? I want to be more than I am. And then it's now this idea of like, I am. And I will be whatever I'm meant to be. You know, it's sort of this will be. I have the will to be what I am. So it's not that I have issues necessarily with discipline. I don't know. It's like, for example, I'm like really I want like a tight fucking body for this performance, and I'm struggling with some aspects of like I'm not bad looking or anything, but like I'm, you know, just like I like to like lose my like flap. You know what I mean? Like, and it's harnessing the willpower to be a gladiator is like a very human thing to struggle with. But like I'm trying to be a kind of a superpower. I'm trying to harness the energy to be a great fucking worldly artist. And to me, it involves body, mind, soul. Every single day, check in. And again, me being in a room with a vocal coach right now and committing to the idea of I want to sign up for a commitment that holds me accountable to training and thinking about my voice like a tool is a sign of commitment to higher self. Because like I said, like I only stopped smoking this year, and that was some lower self energy that was kind of holding on to like, oh fuck, who cares? I'm not gonna be a global singer. I'm not gonna be like, you know, it doesn't matter if I'm gonna fuck up my voice. And like I just kind of had this thing this year. It's like, stop trying to self-sabotage, you know, like stop trying to knock off your progress. Stop trying to like belittle your potential. So I would say like I'm trying to motivate other people to be the same way. But like again, I'm human, so everybody needs that little kick in the ass, that little reminder. Let's do this. Let's go. You know, you got this, because I'm trying to do major shit with it. You know.
Cool. And
I hope it's not overwhelming.
no, I'm really like, you know, you're one of the few people that can really get away with like talking with as much energy, because you are channeling and you are leaving selves behind and you are surprising yourself, I think, as you talk. It's not like you're not repeating yourself, it doesn't sound like.
No, I'm trying to go to a place that I know exists, but it's never existed before. Not for me anyway. And frankly, the type of art I want to make, it's transformative. It's a new type of artist. I can't compare it to any other pop star or something, because I want to do something kind of different with my message, you know? Like I want to be an artist and a speaker and a thinker and an actress and a comedian, you know? Like I want to do all the things.
I almost feel like, at least early stage, potentially like this is the training, and it's almost like if I could just work on your talking and your communication and your expression, at least that's what I'm channeling right now, and then occasionally like drop in like louder or bigger or try this. That's an option. There's obviously 100 different ways to approach, and there's like very slow, painstaking things that can be done. But it's also about like maybe even just shaking it up and like finding something that like is best for you. I also, to be honest, like for me, I've been combining like vocalizing with working out a little bit.
Oh, cool. I mean, to me, that's major. Like when I go for runs, I try to rap while I'm running so that I can practice moving and singing. And like, it sounds pretty terrible while I'm running, but you know, I think about great performers have to move, dance, sing on stage, and like I don't plan on being like a full scale freaky dancer pop star type. I'm a little bit more of like a fancy, you know what I mean? Like I take the mic and I say shit, and I also do. I kind of like describe my style as like techno TED Talks. Like it's all about lights. I like to have the energy of a rave, of a techno stage. You know what I mean? Like I want lights and music and booming subwoofer with like 6 synths. And I have my little vocoder on stage with me, as well as like a little pad, which helps me. Like I'm working with. Have you met Michael Nightmind? He's one of Angelina's really good friends. He just got a house like 30 minutes from you guys. Angelina and I were there like 2 weeks ago. And he's just like an incredible lighting designer. He did this touring for Mitski and Kali Uchis and like a bunch of bad bitches. And he's going to work with me to kind of be my lighting designer. And like, you know, we're going to work together to create this really beautiful techno energy to start as just videos for my, you know, channel, YouTube channel, whatever. And I'm going to be releasing EPs and music over the course of the next year. And they're going to come with, you know, like good songs. Some of the songs are going to be poppy single bops. Some of them are going to be kind of moody, dreamy, sexy techno. And some of them are going to be like 8 to 10 to 20 minute long, like what I call kind of soundtracks for my TED Talks or my reality chats, you know? And that's where I talk, literally. I talk and I have little manifestos, little lectures, and I go into bits, and I have little moments, and I slip in and out of alter egos, and there's like kind of a PowerPoint energy where I like use to like other graphics that can help me illustrate my point. It's like a one-woman show, though. Long-term, like the long-term goal, once we all get released from this hellscape quarantine situation, I'd say like 2023, I want to be like performing at Coachella. 2023, 24, I want to have a tour. I want to be touring with like a one-woman show. It's part rave. It's part motivational, freaky energy. It's part, talking about reality, talking about the world, talking about just my philosophies and my theories about planet Earth, but it's like mixing all the aspects of Brave. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a normal TED talk, but it definitely is this idea of like Signe Pierce on stage talking to us about some real shit, you know? So like where I feel we could probably get into some cool stuff is, and you know, it's like I'm kind of also, do you know who ContraPoints is? She has like a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like one of her script editors reached out to me and said she's interested in working with me. And so like I'm potentially kind of working with this woman, Theron, to help me kind of construct some of the actual talks and like manifestos. I've been composing the music, and like I think we could maybe work on some of the presentation and breathwork elements of like, you know, how to perform this, you know, because it's really important to me, like that when I really do start like manifesting, like and actualizing this, like that I could like audition a 20-minute piece or something for like fucking executives at Live Nation or whoever it is that gives you touring access or record labels and stuff, and I want to like slay the performance, you know, like it's very important that I be able to just be like bing bang boom, like she just did some weird shit that was very clearly very meditated and considered, you know, like I was a theater actor in my high school, and I was good, you know, I was like the, you know, one of the leads of my work and stuff, but I always struggled with the idea of being an actress because I didn't want to be handed somebody else's script, and that's when I started becoming an artist. Because I like to make my own worlds, and I started taking pictures because then you can make your own world. But then I was like frustrated because you can't act in it, you know? So kind of what I'm trying to do is like make a one-woman show that allows me to perform. But like the thing I'm most specifically interested in kind of working on, just to beyond like help you understand like what I need, is like I don't like how I sound when I sing very much. I need some general coaching about warming, even just like warming up, you know what I mean? Like warming up the voice, as well as general breath. I think breath work is an important aspect of life, not just being a performer, but like understanding the breath is like a fundamentally important aspect. And it's the kind of thing that I'd like to talk about in my work, you know? Because I talk a lot about healing. I talk a lot about moving trauma out of the body and stuff. Like these are like aspects of things that I talk about in my Techno TED Talks, you know? So I'm intrigued to learn more about some of what you do, what, you know, and what you consider to be fascinating within the realm of breathwork, because that's new to me. But like, even in our session that we did together, that shit untapped some psychedelic shit for me, you know?
Well, imagine if we found a way to like stay tapped in and like normalize a degree of like high or psychedelic experience that you're functional with. But like that's my goal. I believe that we're able to be much more highly functional than we are. We don't have the ways, and we're really not interested because it's terrifying.
Why do you think it's terrifying?
Why do I think that people think it's terrifying? I don't think it's terrifying. But I think it's the fear of the light. It's also fear of the darkness, and just the combination of like just, I mean, I think our standards should be a lot higher. We should.
Me too.
Everything we do is probably eventually going to be like the psychedelic TED Talk that you experience, you know, in 1,000 years. So you might be pioneering something.
That's what I'd like to think.
Yeah, the great.
I really believe this. Like, I wanna get up on stage and be funny, sexy, vulnerable, weird, make pretty music and fun music that you can dance to. And while I'm doing it, I want to talk about these ideas of like free your mind, y'all. Like You know, it's like finding a poetic way to be like, wake up, like don't be so afraid of what it means to be human. You know, like we all need to do what we need to do to come alive and stop living in fear. Stop living in the shrouded normality that like people have told you this is what it means to be a person. And I'm like, we are scratching the barest of the surfaces. And like I seek to wake people, like I, you know what I mean, like to enliven people, you know, like one of the names, like I'm working with Sophie on a track, and like one of the names of the song is called "Want to Be Alive," and it's literally just like come alive. Like we need to come alive. You know, you might be living, but like, are you alive? You know, and I want my show to enliven. And when I say my show, I kind of mean my work. You know what I mean? Like this higher self performance. It's like a long. I always say it's like a long-term performance. It's just like sometimes it's in media, sometimes it's live, sometimes it's on Instagram. But it's being bodied. The voice and the style and the message are all being authored right now, you know, and I'm like sharpening my craft, and I'm gonna start releasing stuff in the next year.
Whew. And I also feel like, you know, you get more connected as you get more emotional. Your voice changes anyway, and it becomes more like connected to consciousness and what you want it or need it to be, because you're just like aligning whatever personality your voice has with like the source of all personality.
But like, I think the authentic, like it's super important for me to be authentic. And like, this is something that I've kind of struggled with. I'm like, okay, you say you're an actress, but like, I need to be real, you know? But my thing is just like about, like, it's partially for my recordings. And like, yeah, I think like being a strong microphone performer, I don't mind how I sound when I'm talking. Like when I'm rattling, in fact, I prefer a stream of consciousness burst like what I'm doing than to like, hey guys, it's me. So today we're gonna, you know, like I don't love scripting and all that stuff. For me, there's bits that I drop into in my songs. Like, for example, I have one for this song called Algorithm of the Night, and it's like it's me, it's Signe Pierce in quotes, talking to her therapist, who then ends up being one of my alter egos named Big Sister, who's kind of like the data dominatrix. Big Sister is Big Brother's Big Sister.
Nice.
And she's the one who kind of like talks in this very cool voice, you know, like she's unperturbed. She's very, but I'd like to be able to be a little even harder with her, like, you know, like take it even harder. I have this kind of tendency to go nasal, and unfortunately, like, I struggle with allergies and like kind of just a consistent sinus blockage, which I've been trying to figure out since I've been in quarantine. But even today, I'm a little stepped up, you know, and like it's this frustrating thing that kind of prevents me from using my voice, I think, to its highest potential, is because half the time I'm stepped up a little bit, which I also know I've noticed that certain stretches and certain movements tend to unblock me a little bit, you know, but I don't really know what those are. I don't really know what practices are to be getting more like release from my nasal passages. But like you know, in this example of the therapy chick, like, it's like I sit down and I'm like, so I've been going to therapy and I've been like, you know, complaining about how my algorithms are out of sync, you know, like the algorithms of my life. And you know, like the person she's talking to, like, looks at her like, what? And I'm like, you know, like the algorithms of your life, that which dictates and defines all that's around you. Where is the algorithm of perception which controls everything that I understand to be real? The algorithm. And then I start kind of going into like a little bit almost like slam poetry type thing, but it's over a techno beat. And then it starts to kind of get into like a song. A song starts to kind of build around this monologue. And then it starts to turn into the algorithm of my life, my life, my life, my life, my likes, you know, and then it turns into this poetry piece about a song. It's a song. It's a banger, honestly. But it like turns into this kind of like Instagram has made you numb, cancel culture got you dumb. Want to know who minds your mind? It's coded in algorithm. And talking about it's inspired by the fact that like I got on TikTok and like the algorithm on TikTok is like, if you ask me, like predatory, because it only shows me like pretty white influencers from Beverly Hills who are living in their little TikTok houses. And I'm like, to a 16-year-old girl, this is all you're being fed, you know, and then it's like the algorithm is literally mining people's minds, you know, and so I'm seeking in my work, it's like I want to be able to have stream of consciousness conversations where I talk to you, like I'm talking to you right now about this, but then there's poetry and there's performance and there's beauty and there's rhythm and there's music, you know, and there's alter egos, like there's a theater to the message. So it's not just girl yelling on YouTube all day.
I think the mnemonics are interesting too for that. Like I've actually also been mapping it all on astrology, on the houses, and then I'm just adding like more shades to the color wheel.
Fascinating.
And they all have myths, gods and goddesses, and you know the planets or whatever. And I'm seeing them as colors. So I just realized that like understanding story structure to my core is going to take a long time. So I was like, I'm just going to worry about like the process of how I'm going to learn it.
What are you trying to understand?
I want to be able to know how, like, I want to be able to feel my way through improvising a story. Because I'm writing a novel, but it's just like because there is a blueprint for like how we tell each other's stories. I'm like, I just want to know it, but I want to know it without thinking.
I want to know it too, honestly. I'm fascinated to understand. I think this is going to be an important part of the myth building that I'm doing with my work too.
You're interested in the ancient myths?
I always say like I'm designing my mythology.
Okay.
Like I'm interested in the future myths. Like
right.
I want to be a myth in the eyes of the world, you know, like I am designing my mythology. That's what I would say I'm doing right now. And I'm preparing to perform it. Like, frankly, I think like Lana Del Rey is a great example of this idea, you know, it's like Lana performs a mythology of self. She has taken her muses and she fuses her muse with her poetry and her lyricism and her observations and her voice, and she is the vessel for her myth building, you know, and that's what her art is, that's what her career is. And so like I would say I'm kind of interested in that same type of mythological performance. Like Pierce is a poet and thinker and like modern day philosopher of the future, of what is to come, and I muse and fuse different aspects of what I would call like my philosophy, my mythology, in order to do storytelling, to try and attract the attention and the reverence of my contemporary humans, earthlings, you know, like, but I'm deeply inspired by myth and by the ancients and by the gods, and like, and you know, all of this is totally an aspect of what inspires me, you know, like, and I wouldn't say that I am a naturally gifted storyteller, like, you know what I mean? Like what you're talking about with structure, I don't really know what that structure is. I'm vaguely, I know, but you know how like some people are just so great at understanding the rise, the arcs, and the way to play it, and the way that you can weave it. These are all things that I know for a fact would be really necessary for my mythological world building, you know, like, because I plan on living my myth. I plan on living my story, you know?
I don't know if anybody is naturally better than anyone else at storytelling. Well, no, for sure. That doesn't make sense what I just said. In the same way that like there's talent, but like the stories that are being told these days, like the good Hollywood stories or whatever, like they're not, none of them are easily arrived at. Like nobody is born understanding something as complex as how to change and influence their audience through allegory. That's not easy. I actually think it is not that difficult, but it's like we're not being told, so we just don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we rest on cliches and archetypes, you know, and frankly, I think that authors, novelists are some of the greatest at shifting and bending the archetypes because there's so much like braiding and weaving that can occur in the nuance of words, and turning it into actual cinema and film can be like it's just another layer of perception. Ooh, what is this? I love like chart things. I love like chartable information.
This is the hero's journey for public speakers who are giving presentations, actually.
Ooh la la!
Can you see it?
My language. Not really, but is it Googleable?
Yeah, if you type in Nancy Duarte, or I could just send it to you by link, by text. Can I do that? Or no, I can't.
Yeah, but I found it.
Oh, Nancy Duarte, hero's journey, and it should come up as one of the images. She has a few versions.
Amazing.
A likable audience is unaware that they have a problem or an opportunity. She says likable because it's like, that's her mapping onto the fact that like, if you're watching a hero's journey, the hero is allegedly supposed to be likable.
Sure. I mean, essentially, I would say it's kind of like not QAnon would be like a likable, maybe.
Yeah. What's QAnon?
Oh, QAnon is like this terrible conspiracy theory fringe group that like is obsessed with re-electing Donald Trump, and they're like just negative people.
Yeah. And then actually, this isn't even the best image of hers because there's one where she calls it just basically like, let me pull it up. Starting with limited awareness of a problem, and then increasing awareness, reluctance to change, and then you overcome it, committing to change, experimenting with first change, which I would call like the first fight, and then preparing for the big change, and then this like attempting a big change is like the second fight, and this would be like 75% out of 100% of the story. That's like the second to last battle, and then you like fail, things get really bad, and then finally you have like the big fight.
This is amazing. This is honestly so relevant to the stuff that I'm working with.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested in talks as well, and I actually woke up today and started writing my own little talk about breath, which is exciting. Yeah. And it seems like we are interested in similar things because I basically am really big into improv, but I'm also really big into quality. And I'm like, why can't people like improvise a Shakespeare level opera and sound like whatever they want to at any time? Like,
yeah, why does improv always have to kind of be like in this ghetto regional theater energy thing? I took improv at UCB. Like I've taken 2 levels of it. So, and I actually think about improv a lot in the concept of being a reality artist. Because to me, it's like like I said, like I'm an actress, but the role I'm playing is Signe Pierce, and she's always kind of like using the force to like improvise with reality to make art out of it. You know what I mean?
Well, yes, and is actually one of the most humble teachings. Because it's like, actually, what does it look like for it to not be about your direction?
Yeah.
And this is kind of
like the chaos to be.
Yeah. And well, I would say that definitely, but the idea of like starting with the other person being right is like, it might feel really not fun.
Yeah.
We want to lead them into the chaos and hopefully lead ourselves into like, but also chaos is interesting because to lead someone into chaos, at least like you want to come across like it's not chaotic to you or something. That you're not just like taking them.
I think a lot about the like not accepting no, right, or something like that, or like don't answer with no. And I think that's actually like a super valuable lesson in life, kind of, and in perseverance of situations, as opposed to like you can take no for an answer and you can like allow it to be kind of a downward spiral, or you can like not lead with no, you know? Like, I think that that's a major tool in prosperity and positive thinking and in like reality navigation, you know?
Do you feel like doing anything today?
I mean, yeah, why not? We're right here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Let's go.
Do you want to sort of do a random little warm up, or do you want to like actually just work on something like of yours from the start and kind of just work?
I love to just gonna do a warm up. Frankly, like it's been a long time since I've done anything with my voice, done anything with my acting, and done anything with improv. And these are all sides of me that I have spent a lot of time with in the past. But like I said, it's been years, and I miss it. And I would love to just be warmed up. I would love for you to work with me on any little thing based off the hour that we just spent chatting. You understand the bare basics of what it is that I seek to do with my first performance, and like I'm literally game to just have some fun and experiment.
Okay. How good are you at calming down when you need to, and relaxation?
Pretty good. I would say I've been meditating pretty consistently all quarantine, although I will say that I very rarely get into a true meditative state, but I quiet the mind.
I'm also deeply exploring hypnosis, which I don't know yet necessarily like to pull out. I mean, I could, but it's
I
like...
I saw you posting about that and I was like intrigued. I am intrigued because I'm fascinated by the concept.
I think it's literally all leading to the exact same place as what you're doing. Like meditation is breath work, is trance, is focus, is you're like basically you've given up on like changing humans at an ordinary scale, and you're like, what will it take to like put them in a hypnosis, in a trance? And you're like, that's the minimum.
Basically, that's very much part of why I'm so interested in rhythm and music. It's like I want you can get people kind of into a trance state with rhythm, with dancing, with music and flow, and like I want to lure people into that kind of energetic field, you know? Because I'm like, I really, again, like I just keep saying, like I really feel we are operating on a low dimensional field of possibility, and if as we tapped into what you were saying is like, I think a lot of people are afraid of breath work, afraid of the sort of psychedelic, unknown inner workings of the world, and of what would happen if we did, I call it mind work, you know, like, it's adjacent to breath work, it's adjacent to heart work. You know, meditation to me is mind work, but so is like really focusing on your dream and figuring out how to make it happen, you know? And like, I really felt what I did the breath work with you, that I really felt like I couldn't believe that this is like a sensation that's possible in my body just naturally if I were so inclined to practice it, you know? And I think that's how a lot of people feel with meditation too, is like I can't believe this is a thing that I can do to help me feel better, you know?
It's crazy, and it's really sad that we don't like pick up on these things, and we don't have the time, or we don't feel like whatever reasons.
I completely agree, and it's not normalized, so that's kind of part of the goal. We gotta normalize.
Make it trendy,
yeah.
Can you do lip trills? You're very good at lip trills. Is this how
I didn't know they had names.
Oh, okay. And exhale. And this is interesting. A lot of people forget to exhale before they inhale, but it's like if you have time, which we definitely do now, because like warm up is basically like slow motion. We definitely have time to like let it out and then let it in. And it's not about lasting too long. Just sort of easing with it. Just let it out. Exhale.
Maybe exhaling while I'm trilling, though, right?
No, actually, no. I didn't mean that. I'm so glad you asked.
Okay.
After you're done, just like, well, before the inhale. Let's go from down to up. This is basically my favorite. This is the healthiest thing you can do if ever your voice is tired. The actual healthiest thing to do would be to lip trill without any sound, just like, because you're regulating how fast the air is coming out. And the whole point is not to be letting too much out or pushing too much. You literally can't push when you're making that. So it's like, if you go down to up, yeah. We could even do a few just down, up, kind of. Okay, that's good. That's good. You're like too good at that. You're too good. I mean, I don't really know your voice yet, so I don't know like if that was actually maybe not challenging at all for you. But it's definitely more about like starting than kind of, because we want to start it off right rather than like hold it. But how was that for you? Was that like super easy? Or?
Super, felt like nothing.
Okay, so you must have really good breath control.
Maybe.
Okay, amazing, high pitch. Just checking out some stuff. That's definitely not the first thing to do when warming up, but I just.
I want you to like learn me.
Yeah, I'm just figuring out what you are.
Learn me. Read me.
I want to learn you, challenge you a little bit, keep you engaged, and then really make you aware of like the most healthy things to do in the best order to start with. So like lip trills is definitely a really good number one. You can literally do it when waking up and it won't.
Okay, cool.
The other thing is humming, which you probably know.
Mm-hmm.
They can also be combined, I would say, as like a second exercise. And just keep going up a little bit while taking an inhale and then. Yeah, exhale and inhale, good. Yeah, and then you could we could build on that too. This is kind of like we're creating our own mnemonic a little bit, but yeah, it's coordination. There we go. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and just keep going a little bit. I'm going to tell you this now as you keep going, to just be aware that your tongue is like the big key player here. So we want to be aware of what she's doing. I don't know what gender your tongue is, but it's a she. We want to be like a Muppet. Like their tongues don't actually work. They always stay kind of pressed behind the bottom teeth. If you've heard this before, let me know. So the tongue is only used to create the consonant, like the jakabala. It's used for that, but otherwise we want it always back in place. So for this one, you can just be thinking about that, building awareness right from this get-go that we're just doing, and you're building awareness of what your tongue is doing.
Okay.
If you want to talk that out, or
well, I'm thinking about how I never think about where my tongue is,
and maybe you don't want to think about it because it might fuck shit up.
I don't want to think about it too much, but it's nice to be present of what the mouth is doing when making sounds, because that's part of where the control element comes from. I'm just kind of like, I'm noticing when I'm speaking right now that yes, the tongue does rest behind the teeth. That yes, that is like where it's hanging out.
Well, that's a pretty good realization. Yeah.
That's where it's pushing sound like pretty fluidly.
It really knows what it's doing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want us to be thinking about it while we're singing, but don't worry, you won't be. You'll never be distracted by your tongue. It's just like, because now we're going so slowly, like we may as well, this is where we change it. Like we're always going to change it at a place where it kind of feels like a Matrix, like white room, or like we get to like talk and think about these things that will then either be there for us later or not, but they'll definitely be improved. They'll be better.
Totally. I understand.
But if you want to do like a little, okay, should we just keep going?
Just keep going and feel free. I want you to just feel free to lead and guide as you would. I'm like really malleable, and this is stuff I haven't done in a really long time. So it all of it feels really good.
Yeah, you're doing great, and obviously as we learn each other, everything will be more like. I mean, I'm looking forward through working with you to being able to really push the connection with like the breath work and the trance and meditative states. I see you going there anyway because you're an artist, and that's what we do. Is like every opportunity we have to translate, like I'm going to take it. So that's great.
And that's what I want to do with the work that I'm making. Like the purpose of this performance, it is to use myself as a communication vessel to help other people vibe up. Like to vibe up, to glow up, to unlock potentials, to radiate higher energy, because I really deeply, profoundly believe that we as a global people have so much more capability and possibility to be vibing up with. And so like I'm trying to harness my vessel to be the vibe I wish to see in the world, you know, and to teach others how to come into that space. So I really want to learn that as well.
Amazing. Let's add one more thing. Great, just play with that for a bit. Like descend upwards.
It's like I keep getting in this fucking fact that I'm gonna stuff up.
Is your throat hurting at all, or?
No, I always am a little stuffed up. Like always. Pretty consistently throughout my life. I'm always a little stuffy. So it was like, you know, I can feel I'm not going as hard as I could, but I just kind of need to clear my passages a little bit.
I wonder if I could give you a sinus exercise.
Sorry?
Maybe I could give you a sinus exercise.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, we could just skip like 10 lessons and just see what happens.
I really am looking for that. I'm looking to exorcise whatever the fuck demon is living in my sinuses.
I don't really know if this will fix it. It's just working with it. We'll see what it feels like. it's like I'll teach it to you in stages. Tongue out. So these are your sinuses. These are the muscles, like, yeah. So actually just lift them up and down slowly a few times. And keep taking those deep breaths to support that.
I'm taking them kind of inhaling through my sinuses, not my throat, and going through the nose.
No, you can breathe in through the mouth. Inhale, and then on the exhale, I want you to do this. Totally relaxed tongue, totally open mouth. And then you can add sound to it while massaging. It would normally go to your nose. You're sending it to your sinus. So you're going to go, then the sound is just like you're saying he, and taking really big breaths to support this far and new venture. Without the breath, you're not going to be able to even get there fully. So that's really. And breathing even deeper in. And I don't know how. And then another one that's just for the sinuses is, how does that feel?
That's good.
Is hui.
Lay.
So it's really like way. Way, and then it's like kind of like a rubber band. It's like way. And keep breathing. Nice. Way. And then see how nice. And then see how doing this like informs it, so you can sort of play between and way. And for this one, just our tongue's always going to be doing something, so we're going to have to like be able to communicate with her and just take a break outside your mouth for a minute. Nice.
What is this doing? Is it like warming up the tissue of the
I just wonder, yeah, that's a good question. So I was like, this isn't going to heal your nasal issues, but it's going to give you more access to the sinus regions that are not just in your nose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About, like when I think about my sinus condition, I can tell it's like a block up here, but like, I understand that this is where a lot of like the fluid is stored as well. I don't feel a sinus pressure necessarily here. I do sometimes, like when I'm really stuck up, like I know that this is a part of kind of like freeing it, and like loosening tension.
But in general, that's what we're doing. Way. Yeah, let's just revisit. I wanted to show that to you, and you can play with that and just see if it does for you. But let's see. So does humming feel like it aggravates it?
No.
Okay. Let's do ma ya. Nice. Let's actually do Well, there's actually only one thing that needs to be moving, and you can practice this. But basically, it's just the middle of the tongue that's going to be going up and down. Like a wave just pushing forward. Don't think about the middle of the tongue. Just think about like gluing your tongue to the same place, but actually having all the rest of it kind of go. In fact, you can just try it without sound for a second. Nice. And I can't see you in profile, but are you doing this? Yeah, so that's pure coordination, and we're doing great. Ha-la-la-la. And you can nice, and you can see if you can what happens when you do hi-ya-ya-ya. Nice. Hi. Hi.
I'm finding I'm getting a little dizzy.
Okay, lots of breathing. Cool. Let's take a moment.
Hey.
Let's go back to the trills. Let's do a me ma mo mu. Me ma mo mu. Mo. And tell me a little bit more about in terms of like singing versus rapping. Like, do you want to be able to equally do both?
Definitely. I mean, like, I'm just gonna sing like a bar.
Yeah.
One of my songs that I would like to be is famous single.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, like little baby chord. Do re mi fa sol la ti do ti re mi fa sol mi re go.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Shadow, shadow. Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel alright. It's a form of therapy, you know. Release me to the techno. That I need to do some healing. So tonight let's have a meeting. Dancing on the demons, yeah. Feeling deep inside, it's eating me alive. I can feel it all around me, and my hips is where they hide. I got feelings deep inside, they're eating me alive, but I exercise my right to release myself into exercise to the rhythm.
Wow.
The rhythm of the beat. Exorcism. It's spelled in a song called Exercise, like exorcism. And it's all about like dancing on your feet, you know? But, like, I want to sing this song and I want it to sound good. And like, as you can hear, I'm a little flat, I'm a little nasally, like, and I'm trying to unleash the fucking potential. And I can hear when I do it, like, shadow dancer in the moonlight. It's like a little like hanging out in the chest when it should probably be pushing more from the diaphragm, you know. And then I kind of like shift. Shadow dancer in the moonlight, shake my body till I feel alright. It's a form of therapy. It's not just it's hanging out the knees full. Just, you know, I can just tell it. I'm not so studied in how to use this power, you know.
First of all, I think you sound really, really good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
A couple of people I've been like, you're not that bad. Like I'm very hard on myself, but like, you know, I want to be better. That's my thing.
I would like think about it too in terms of like slowing down time again. and being like, I'm just gonna work on like this one word. Like you could work on one. We could work. Yeah.
Totally. I've actually noticed that like there is all sing my verse, and I'll get some clean parts, and then there's just one or two words that I cannot get. I cannot hit it. And so then what I'll do is I'll record that one word 15 times until I do get it, you know?
And then everything is better.
But yeah, it's things like that. Like you just work on the words that I'm troubled with, and through what I learn in the process of learning how to sing my trouble parts, it'll help me understand some of the tools that could be applied towards the whole song, you know?
Plus, like, not to mention the kind of transcendent experience of like focusing and repetition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is a tool. If we just worked on like that first line, "Shadow Dancer in the Moonlight," and just did just the vowels for a second, so your tongue move, it can just relax, kind of staple to the bottom of the teeth, and just be like ah oh eh oh. Yeah, and are you thinking about do you do that?
No, not really. Should I?
Yeah, do it. Try that. Ah oh. Yeah, I think just repeat it a few times and feel yourself relax more and more with every time, and your neck muscles relaxing, and your face and everything, just sinking to that deeper, more comfortable place. At your own time. Nice. Beautiful. And I'm gonna add one more thing. Potentially between every time that you do it, actually even between every word, just for now, you could just play with what it feels like to take the biggest breath you can without any effort. Oh. But remember to exhale before taking the inhale. Sorry.
So wait, what do you mean by taking the biggest breath without any effort?
Actually, do the full line. Just ooh, oh. See, that was the biggest breath I could within the sort of rhythm time that I had. Yeah.
Okay.
And exhale. And inhale. Nice.
Keep inhaling?
Oh, no, you should actually exhale as long as you have time to. And you can totally like this all seems probably confusing. Like, do I really have to do this?
It's not nitty gritty. I know. I spent 6 years in a chorus, so I understand.
Okay.
Like, you need to know the scale of your breath that you take in before a verse. And how many inhales and exhales you're doing in between. Okay. I understand the concept. I just don't know how to do it. So it's super valid.
Well, for now, maybe just focus on that one line, but we can also do it in a different way, by the way. First of all, we could do it on.
The two verses go, it's the same song, basically, like, trying to dance in the moonlight, shake my body till I feel right. But I think, I'll just stick with the first one. I won't try and add the next one. It's like, okay.
Well, yeah, see the coordination. The coordination was off there.
Okay.
Yeah, the coordination.
I'm going to be taking a gigantic, huge breath in the beginning if I'm going to do a little baby breath, right?
No, you can just. No, I think that what happens.
Huge breath and have too much breath left.
Well, what happens is that you're not exhaling after the line. That's why you have a lot of breath, because you're rushing. You're thinking of gotta make it, but actually, you can take as long as you want right now. So, but the coordination is going to be a bit tricky, and it might take you a few times to get used to like exhaling after the sound. If you want to try that.
Ow, 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 ow.
There we go.
Ow, 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 ow.
There we go.
Ow, 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 ow.
And try it on the lip trill.
Okay.
And you can keep going to the next line in the lip trill. I think it's useful to work on a song like this as like a blueprint for our exercises, because this is going to be the best way to prepare it, like, or warm up
Me
for it.
too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Cool.
And like this is a single I think that I want to release, and like part of what's preventing me from sending demos to like bigger names, bigger people is not sounding good on the recording. So I love to like work on this track.
So this is another one. Now you have two like little things. Another one is basically you're going to be mouthing the words, but the sound that you're going to make is, and I don't know if maybe your nasal problems might be an issue, but see how you feel. It's going to be, Can you just try that for a second? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you do that? So maybe just a couple of warm-ups before we do it, but And you can actually feel yourself press down a little bit into your seat, because we do want to kind of start accessing the diaphragm. So almost as you're going to the bathroom, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Good. And keep breathing into it. Mm-hmm. Nice. So now you can go. Nice. And if you can visualize or pretend that you're singing the words, then your mouth will like really come through for you when you actually have to sing it.
Okay. It's weird. I got this weird thing where like, you know, it's like your ear kind of like moves in and out of like it's like I kind of feel like your ear is popping a little, or like you can hear it in your ear. It's like most of the time it's not doing that thing where basically I'm in my ear. You know what I mean?
Right. So you can pop your ears, or let's just do something else for a second. Should we do that?
Well, I'm kind of wondering like.
I just like.
Is there a mental control to make it not go into my ear?
It hasn't gone into my ear for like long enough that I don't really know exactly what that feels like.
Is it okay for it to go into my ear?
Yes.
Okay. Because I think I can hear myself better in terms of like keeping tune when I'm not in my ear. But if it's not abnormal to go into your ear, then I'm not going to spend a lot of time worrying.
Do you know this trick too, where you actually hold up your hand with your ears?
Oh no, I don't.
See what that sounds like.
Oh, that's why singers do that.
Then you're going to be less likely to push your voice because you're hearing yourself amplified. That's all it's good for.
Oh, yeah, maybe she is. Hi.
And you can do that with both hands too if you want.
Oh my god, I'm so meta right now. Okay.
Yeah. Can you do this? Yeah. Yeah, that's just for jaw loosening. And now we can do this. Yeah. Well, that I was going like just to remind it to be limp, but that works too.
Well, I mean, you see me when I'm singing. I do like this,
Yeah.
keeping loop, which I was reading something really interesting that said like all singing animals, humans and animals, any bird that sings, like they vibrate in their body while they sing because it's like a part of the vibration that happens. There was like somebody sent this really interesting article, which I'll send to you, all about singing animals and the tendency of vibration that occur in a singing animal, and how like a small it's typical for that's why singers move when they're singing. It's a part of keeping vibration and keeping the rhythm going. So I think I naturally like do this sort of movement as well. It's like just encouraging to see you do it.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a big one. We do a lot of movement, but we could do that next time if you want. But
is it better for me to be standing when I'm working on this type of work?
Yeah, but I'm not precious about it because it's just like whatever you feel like. It's just important that you. So I'm taking a big breath in, raising my hands, and I'm going to do this moment on a hump.
You're exhaling out when you do it?
Yeah, I'm inhaling and then I'm humming as I do it. And of course I'm bending my knees and actually coming up, so the full motion is going to be, you maybe can't see it, but it's like I'm swinging. It's like I'm going, there we go. Exactly, yeah. And I'm really loosening the crown of my head as I go down, and then feeling the vibration fall into the crown of the head, like yeah. And you can do that on hey. Yeah, you're just saying hey to someone you haven't seen in a while. Hey. And a big breath in before we go down. Hey. And now we're on a triad. Hey. Or a quattro. Hey. It feels. Try it like this. It's a little bit harder coordination-wise, but start it without anything, and then the highest note is at the bottom. So, hey. There you go. Or just, hey. Yeah, these are quite powerful, kind of annoying, but just like loosening. Hey. Yeah, basically singing and dancing is like the new thing. Singing and dancing and breathing.
Here for that. I really want to dance while I sing. I'm very here for that. I try to move around like as much as possible.
So maybe try a few lines while dancing, and let's see how that, if you want it, for that single. Yeah.
Okay. Got a dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till
Nice.
Is to the rhythm.
Yes.
Yeah, the rhythm of the beat. Exorcism to the rhythm. Yeah, get up and move your feet. And then we go into some rapping. Got demons on your mind and they're eating you alive. But there's only one solution, bitch. It's fucking revolution. So let's move it, shake it, fuck it, break it. Don't just two-step, don't you fake it. Move your head, move your chest and hips and lips and fingertips and rock hard tips. Move vibrated, bounce gyrated, jack it, snap it, lick it, slap it. Move your chest and hips and lips and fingertips and rock hard tips. Make it nasty, make it pop. Don't you sit down, don't you stop. Exercise your right to never shadow dancing like. When I get this feeling, vibe that shit. Like I need to do some healing, see some needs of destruction. Then let's have a meeting, vibe that shit. My demons, feeling deep inside. It's eating me alive. I can feel it all around me. My lips is where they hide. I got demons deep inside, eating me alive, but I exercise my release myself into exercise to the rhythm. Yeah, the rhythm of the beat. Exorcism to the rhythm. Get up and move your feet. So it's like, even like exercise, like exorcism. I don't sound so free on, but it's like that's a fucking chorus. You gotta get that.
Yeah, well, you sound pretty good, and you're not gonna be like dancing in the studio at least, so you have time to like.
No.
Right.
Totally. There's a lot of time to finesse the actual song and
I mean, I believe that the more into the detail you're willing to go, the better it will sound in terms of like. Even a lot of it is just slowing it down and noticing what your mouth and what your tongue is doing. Separating the melody can also kind of give you at least a mental break from it. So that you got all these like different, very like you do ya, whatever, or on the vowels. Yeah. Whatever. Well.
I need to kind of know how it's a nice breakdown. You know what I mean? Like what we were doing earlier, like how moves, you know what I mean? Like kind of that oscillating between the two.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, way. Or just the various like slowing down enough to be aware of what we're doing, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I like between these like the different like how what the best kind of like mouth movements are for me to kind of be practicing without lyrics too, like.
Okay.
Well, like whys or has or what are kind of the best formulas for me to be playing with?
Pretty basic. I would do a lot of a, e, o, u.
A, e, o.
Or going a, e. Yeah, or just right. Oh. Oh. very specific shape your mouth wants to make for each one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's a really specific shape that your mouth is like really eager to get into for each one, which is important. Yeah, which is good. Like, ooh can be a little bit exaggerated. Ooh. Hey. Yee. Oh. Oh. That's great. Like, are you used to doing sounds like that, or this is kind of?
I think I do this kind of. That's kind of shit I say like in my daily life.
Yeah.
I know I like in trading now, but yeah, I mean it feels extremely natural to my cadence.
We need that energy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should not feel like you should also practice the idea of like you're still singing your song, but like why is it at that note? Because you're speaking it. Like there's no difference between speaking and singing to a degree.
Totally. I think that's actually something that I've found getting a little caught up in. Is like I want to sound good, and so therefore I'm like singing in this kind of shadow in the moonlight. Like I still need it to have the Sydney Pierce energy, like fucking cool, calm, collected, and sexy, and funny. Is like that's my vibe on stage. And a lot of my songs are funny and pretty and sexy and a little geeky. And like I need to be able to play her in my body language and in my vocal language without feeling kind of like I must sing, like, you know, because and that's again what I'm trying to train is because right now I feel very like person who is trying to sing good is how I feel, and therefore the fluidity and the casualness of Sydney Pierce kind of gets left behind, you know.
So does it sound like? Is this too much, by the way? Because I'm like.
This is the best. This is I really am so thankful for your time.
Okay.
It's really exciting.
So what is it? What would it be like to just say "shadow dancer in the moonlight" to the specific person, or the most, and just like communicate it to them in a way where it's like almost you couldn't even tell if you're like speaking or singing.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight.
And now slow.
Shake my body till I feel alright.
Keep it going.
It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno.
And I could turn you up. I could turn up your singing just a little bit by like 5%, and then what would that sound like?
Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel right. It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno.
5% more.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel right. It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno.
You're great at this. Okay, this is so specific. I can literally see like 5% more. Okay, 5% more.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel right. It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno.
Yes. 5 more.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel alright. It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno.
It's giving so much control. Do you want to continue on that?
Yeah, really nice. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel alright. It's a form of therapy. Okay, now I'm thinking. It's a form of therapy, you know? Releasing to the techno. Shadow dancer in the moonlight. Shake my body till I feel alright. It's a form of therapy, you know. Releasing to the techno.
Do you want to continue?
Yeah.
No, you're doing great. I mean, I also wonder what it would feel like to sort of feel like you're kind of like, what would it sound like if you were at like 200% opera, kind of just to see what.
Shadow dancer in the moonlight.
Nice.
Take my body till I feel therapy. You know, release me to the techno all night long.
Yeah. I want you to have this image that you'll probably never forget. I'm definitely putting it into my little talk, but I recently learned that this opera singer would not be able to like perform without a diaper on stage. And he wasn't incontinent, like he didn't have bowel issues other than when he was singing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what a trauma or like a problem.
No, you're not.
What's it gonna do?
I didn't tell the story well enough. So it's almost like recommended. It was like part of his training because he knew that was like he was shitting because he was breathing so much.
Yeah.
And
He was like pushing it.
yes. He was vibrating so much.
I mean, I love an artist dedicated to their craft.
Yeah.
And I understand what you're telling it to me because it's helpful in terms of channeling that push. You're pushing sound out of you.
And what we
Meditational state.
basically we underestimate how much we can prepare the breath for before each sentence. We're like, oh, we'll be fine. But we don't want to actually train it into the technique from the very beginning of learning the song. It's like, I'm going to breathe there. Like just thinking about that. And it takes care of us because it takes care of so many problems. Then you don't have to worry about how it sounds from the outside. It's just like, oh, it's emotion,
Completely.
I guess I wanted, if you have another couple of minutes, the section with the ings at the end, the meeting, feeling.
Yep.
I was going to say that part of the beauty about being a Muppet and keeping the tongue down for vowels but not for consonants is there's this understanding that like we really don't care about consonants as much as we do about vowels. E, O, U, that's like all we care about. It's before language, that's all we had. So I'm more interested potentially in you kind of dropping into the ing gently, but unless it's like a really deliberate style choice, which is fine. But if not, then potentially like just to get that like meeting, not to hold it as much as, you know what I mean? Because like,
Yeah, because honestly, the way I'm currently singing it, I don't love, and frankly, I'm singing it that way out of necessity of like, this is what it sounds like for me to get these stems out. I would like it to, like, I think about like how Ariana Grande would sing it or something, and it would be way more casual, you know what I mean? Sometimes I get the feeling, which frankly, I think it kind of could be more like that. Because right now, sometimes I get the feeling. It's like doesn't even be that long,
right.
Sometimes I get the feeling. Is that what you mean? Kind of like shorter, not so.
Well, no, you can definitely hold the feeling as long as you want, just not so much the maybe feeling.
Yeah. Sometimes, okay, I think I'm gonna try like you said, like 50% thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get the feeling. No, that's pretty samey. Sometimes I get the feeling. Sometimes I get the feeling.
And you can still hold the note even when you're speaking. You can still hold the note even when you're speaking.
Sometimes I get the feeling. Oh yeah, I can feel this
Sometimes I get the feeling. It's just like pausing, holding time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not going, like trying to gulp it, basically.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get the feeling like I need to do some healing. So tonight, let's have a meeting. We're dancing out our demons.
Nice.
Sometimes I get the feeling like I need to do some healing.
See what would be like I need to do some healing.
Like I need to do some healing. Yeah. That feels way more natural.
Yeah.
Not so.
Beautiful.
Like I need to do some healing.
Healing. It's weird. It's gonna be weird, yeah.
Well, my thing is that I'm obsessed with singing it like healing. I need to exercise that demon, frankly.
Healing.
Healing. Heal.
Hold the leaf for 3 seconds. Healing.
Healing.
Nice.
Alright?
Yeah, and then just drop off with yang even a little bit more gently.
Healing.
There we go.
Healing.
And you can drop it off even a little bit more of a sort of fade out instead of hammering in the NG.
Healing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. It's just like the little crystal at the end. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be a full fucking consonant moment.
Everybody knows what the word is going to be. You know, it's not going to be helitosis or like.
Yeah.
We know what you're going to say.
It's just like a period at the end.
This is also a really good one. Yeah. Another really good one is just ling, ning, 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 ning. Yeah.
Healing.
Yeah.
Healing. Yeah.
Because you got that ning, ning, ning out of your system.
Yeah, really. Healing. Like I need to do some healing.
Mm-hmm.
Healing.
And also just like that particular exercise, like ning really places your voice really well. So I can tell why you kind of want to like lay in it. Because it's like everybody's voice sounds good. And then it's yeah. But your voice sounds really good post doing that exercise too, because it really did. It spreads the nasal resonance out.
I totally hear it and I feel it. Yeah. Healing.
Mm-hmm.
Healing.
Yeah. And now with meeting? With meeting?
So tonight let's have a meet. I kind of like a meet. It's kind of like a hard thing. Meeting.
Yeah.
Meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting.
You sound really good.
Meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel it clear. I think thinking about we don't feel so obsessive about sounding the sound.
The overall sound, yeah. Nice. Yeah, it's definitely okay to in the rehearsal, whatever time, to be thinking, is it an ah, is it an eh, or is it an o, and like, what's the difference? Ah, eh, e, o, u. Yeah. Oh. There we go. Oh, yeah. Oh is really like a door. You have to think about a door, like opening. Do. Oh. No, it's like the door. It's like the door spoken in. It's like the o. Do.
Yeah. Oh.
There we go. Yeah.
But then after that, is it
Ooh. Yeah. Like
you.
it's like the moon. Moo.
Okay. Okay.
Well, you're saying like ew, yeah, but it's like think of a cow mooing. Ooh. There we go. And you can really like ooh. Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
Big breath and ah. Nice. What about if you said aw, like aw, aw? Nice.
Oh wait, is it
Yeah.
o, u?
Yeah. Lovely. Oh. Yeah.
Or.
Oh. Yeah. Nice.
I'm getting okay. Or versus ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh.
Is that proper?
Well, it's
I'm
oh.
just going between the two. Oh, ooh.
You could have a word that reminds you of each one. I mean, it could be door, but it could also be.
Door and moon, I think, although it's gonna throw me off a little bit. Like, I think it's like coochie, like Ella Coochie, like right? Would that be kind of like
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we're definitely interested in the most pure ooh, like ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It could just be ooh, I guess, right?
Yeah, but you're doing it. Ooh, but it's like a little bit more.
Well, I guess it would be kind of like O versus ooh, right?
Yeah, or poo.
Ooh.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm mixing a little bit of an A and an O here.
Oh.
Oh. Ew. Oh. Right?
Yeah, and actually, it's fine. Like because the thing is, what you're doing is you're sinking into the detail. So it's like.
Yeah, but I think it's important to get the standards, right?
Okay, so the standard is.
So what do we call these first of all?
Oh, it's just the vowels.
Just the vowel. Okay, so the sounds the mouth makes to produce the vowel.
Are a combination of them. For example, between ah and eh, if you put them together, you would get eh. You know.
Yeah.
Created from those 5 things. So ah, fa. A would be the A in dead or desk or. Yeah. A. E is the E is the E in greed. E. Yeah. Yeah. Or C. Yeah. A, E. O could be God. It could be door. Do. Yeah, I like door.